Is there another war about to start in Europe? Folks, this is Fernando with another video for the channel. And yeah, I mean, we have a very delicate situation in the border between Serbia and Kosovo. Let's watch what the news has to say about it and comment later.
The Serbian army patrols its border with Kosovo, a border Serbia doesn't formally recognize. On the Kosovan side, ethnic Serbs, who make up 6% of Kosovo's population, set up more roadblocks as part of the recent escalation of tensions in Europe's newest nation. NATO's KFOR peacekeeping troops say they are investigating the firing of gunshots on Christmas Day, although no one was hurt. Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in 2008. It is mostly ethnic Albanian with pockets of ethnic Serbs. Serbia does not recognize its status, neither do Russia or China.
Sačuva mir.
The head of the Orthodox Church in Serbia calls for peace as he meets with the country.
Always the same guys, always the same players.
President.
Samo da znamo.
Alexander Vučić says the West and Kosovan Albanians want to see Serbs killed. He has again put his armed forces into high combat readiness. That in response to Kosovo's Prime Minister saying his government will remove the barricades unless KFOR troops do so.
Should the Kosovo authorities decide to do something like that, there is a question as to whether this is going to lead to further escalations. Obviously, we hope that is not going to be the scenario.
Tensions rose this year over a Kosovan proposal to make ethnic Serbs use Kosovan car license plates rather than Serbian plates. 600 Kosovan Serbs resigned from Kosovo's police force last month.
Even just the mere presence of KFOR obviously serves as a very strong deterrence for both sides to escalate the tensions further.
Ethnic Serbs are pushing for more autonomy, something Kosovo's government says is not on the table, at least for now. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
Anyway, you get the idea, right? They are pushing for conflict. These are the same players. This is Russia siding, Serbia siding with Russia, aligned with Russia, and that old Soviet, imperial idea. And yes, they're looking to start another front of war in Europe. Why the hell would it be then that Serbians living in Kosovo would start blocking roads? This is the classic operation. This is the exact same thing they did in Ukraine back in 2008 when they started this mess and said that Putin was crossing over into Ukraine so as to protect Russians living in Ukraine. Imagine if that's how the world worked, if countries invaded one another to protect citizens from other countries. Well, that's the same excuse they're using right now. So as to protect Serbians in Kosovo, they're thinking of invading Kosovo. Now, it is dangerous. This is a conflict that is obviously now escalating, and it could become a hot war, yet another front of the former Russian Soviet Empire axis and Europe. So the way in which you stop this, and with thugs, with dictators like Putin, the only language they understand is force. The moment you start trying to compromise, reach a point of negotiation through, dialogue and finding a common point, that's only encouraging them to be more violent, to grab more land, to be more the only way they know how to behave, which is using force and taking what they want. So the only hope we have here is a very strong response from the West. Europe, NATO, they have to get their act together and respond in a very clear manner that continuing with this line will only lead to suffering, pain, and destruction. Again, it's the only language they understand. If you try to negotiate with terrorists, then it doesn't end up well. These guys are terrorists. The ones that are operating in Kosovo right now in trying to start a conflict by blocking roads, shooting people, and starting a hot war, the exact same playbook that we saw in Ukraine. They started with, yes, we're being discriminated by the denazifying Ukraine and all of that bullshit. And with that excuse, they start invading, taking over, and declaring sovereign republics and territories within another country that are then annexed by themselves. Exactly what you saw with Russia happening in Ukraine. This would be the same thing. These guys are aligned with Russia and they're following orders from Moscow. Guys, prepare, because things are getting quite complicated, as you can see, and it's important to not only prepare but also stay on top of news, know how things are going and how events keep unfolding. You have Ukraine, you have this. How is this likely to end? We don't know. We know that Russia is becoming quite desperate because Ukraine has not gone their way. The war has not gone the way they would have wished. And maybe I think that opening a second front would debilitate or create more conflict and work in their favor. Who knows? Guys, that's going to be all for now. See you in the next video. Take care.